Hello students, I am Dr. Mohammad Yaduddin, Assistant Professor in Department of Psychiatry. Today I am going to take a lecture on Introduction of Psychiatry. So first, what is the definition of psychiatry? What is psychiatry? Psychiatry is a branch of medical science which deals with prevention, management and research of mental disorders. Why I am saying mental disorders, not mental disease? The question arises, what is the difference between mental disorders and disease? Disease are those entities in medical science for which we know the exact etiology of the entity. So we can target that causative factor and we can eliminate the disease by root. It means disease can be cured permanently, like malaria caused by Plasmodium falciparum. We can target that Plasmodium falciparum and we can kill that organism and the malaria will be gone away. But in disorders, there are multiple causative factors in which we cannot eliminate it from its root cause. We will target the pathophysiology of the disease, of the entity, and modify the quality of life. So, disorders cannot be cured permanently. Most of the entities in medical science are disorders. You name anything in medicine like osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, hypertension, diabetes, psoriasis, etc. All are disorders. Similarly, in psychiatry also, majority of the entities are disorders because we don't know the exact causative factor or there are multiple causative factors. So we cannot put that mental disorders are cured permanently, yet they, they require long lasting treatment. There are a lot of myths about psychiatry. Basically, we are dealing with three kinds of entities in psychiatry, a group of disorders in psychiatry. Number one is psychotic disorders, number two is neurotic disorders, number three is neurological disorders. Among the neurological disorders are primary headaches like migraine, tension type headache, or cluster headache, seizure disorder, autism spectrum disorder, dementia, whether it is Alzheimer dementia or vascular dementia, Parkinsonism, trigeminal neuralgia, essential tremors, etc. There are long list of neurological disorders which are seen basically by psychiatrists. Other disorders like neurotic disorders, what is the difference between psychosis and neurosis? In psychosis, the patient has loses judgment and patient don't have the insight that he is ill or she is ill. In neurosis, these components are preserved. They have got the insight and they seek treatment from the physicians. The majority of the illness disorders in psychiatry are neurotic or neurological. Among the neurotic, most common are unipolar depression, obsessive compulsive disorder, panic disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, substance use disorder, uh, insomnia, parasomnias, personality disorders. There are a long list of neurotic disorders. Among the psychotic disorders, there are only few names. First is the schizophrenia. Number two is bipolar mood disorder. Number three is postpartum psychosis. Number four is brief psychotic disorder. Majority of the patients who attended our OPD mostly are neurotic or neurological. We daily see at least 150 to 160 cases. Among those, only 50 to 60 cases are psychosis. The rest are neurotic or neurological. So there is a myth among the healthcare workers and laymen that those who visit psychiatrists are suffering from pagalpan. Basically, what is pagalpan in medical science? Pagalpan means those patients who are psychotic, who don't have the insight, who don't have the judgment. They are labeled as a pagal in the general terminologies. So you can see there are exhaustive list of neurotic disorders and neurological disorders which are seen in psychiatry. Those people are not psychotic at all. They cannot be labeled as a pagalpan, like a child coming with mental retardation or autism spectrum disorder or eating disorder. We cannot label him or her that he is a pagal. This is a great misconception among us and among the general society. It should be dispelled. What is the approach in psychiatry to make a diagnosis? In psychiatry, two things are very important. Number one is the clinical history, and number two is mental status examination. On the basis of history and mental examination, we can conclude a proper diagnosis. There is no other investigations which is required to make a diagnosis. There are a lot of psychological symptoms. If we take one symptom at one time, so the differential diagnosis will be first that psychological symptom may be due to first there are three differential of any psychological symptom you read in your books. Number one is it can be a normal variant. Number two, psychological symptom due to medical cause. Number three, psychological symptom due to psychiatric cause. This approach is very important to write down a proper history or take a proper history. If you go through your books, you can think there are a lot of symptoms which are present in your own behavior. So does we are suffering from psychiatric disorders? No, at all not. Because psychiatry diagnosis is based on cluster of symptoms when it fulfills a specific duration and it should cause a specific impairment in his personal, occupational or social life. Until it doesn't make any impairment in our life activities, so that means we are not suffering from any kind of psychiatric disorders. Because psychiatry deals with behavioral science, so most of the symptoms you read will be found in your behavior. It's not unusual. The first differential should be the normal variant. Like for example, decrease self-muttering. Self-muttering means talking to oneself. There are a lot of people who are introverts. They don't want to put their feelings to others. So major, if you see, sometimes they used to talk with himself or herself. First, self-muttering was also found in depression, obsessive compulsive disorder, and self-muttering is also an indirect evidence of auditory hallucination in schizophrenia. If you see someone is self-muttering and you finally label that he is suffering from schizophrenia, is a great mistake. The first approach is to rule out whether it is a normal variant. Second, there are medical causes, like in specific age groups in old age, Parkinsonism, dementia are the causes of self-muttering in old age. So first we have to rule out the medical causes. Then finally we have to reach the psychiatric diagnosis. So psychiatric diagnosis is a diagnosis of exclusion. It's not a first-hand diagnosis. This approach is very much important in taking a proper history. In our setup, we usually take history from the attendants. So informant is very important for whom we are taking the history, because our diagnosis is going to be made on the information we have gathered from the attendant. So the attendant should be reliable to conclude that the history is adequate. The first thing we should check that whether the informant is reliable or not. For checking the reliability of the attendant, first thing, during the period of the illness, whether the attendant was deciding with the patient or not. If he is not deciding, then he is not a proper informant. Second, the judgment of the attendant. If his or her IQ level was very low, he cannot judge anything, so he cannot give a proper history. So first thing, when we take history, we should take into consideration the reliability of the informant. These things are not important in other branches, but in our branches this is very much important. When the patient describes something, we can write chief complaint according to the patient and chief complaint according to the informant. Both can be similar or both can be dissimilar. Like in psychosis, patient of psychosis will not give the proper history. The history given by the attendant and the patient will differ. So we have to rely on the informant for making a diagnosis. When we take the history, the chief complaint will be decided not by the will be decided by me, who is the clinician, which should be the primary complaint. But as you were given teaching in other departments that what patients say will be the chief complaint, but this is not the case in psychiatry. Like most of the patients comes to our clinic and say that patient has got impairment in sleep or decreased appetite, but these are the secondary complaints. When we poke, we can we can gather information that a patient is talking irrelevantly, patient is behaving oddly from last few weeks. Then that should be the primary complaint, not that patient is not taking proper meal or patient is not taking proper sleep. These are the secondary complaints. So this approach is very much important for taking a proper history. Next is the mental status examination. Mental status examination is the soul of psychiatry, for which we can differentiate whether patient is lying, malingering, or giving a good information for making diagnosis. In the next lecture, I will describe what is mental status examination. Thank you.